Next beer. All right, we're gonna do a beer review for you guys, but first I want to show you a little magic trick. Joker and Thief playing cards, really cool cards. Check these out. All I want you to do is I'm just gonna have you pick a card. You can thumb through there, and you can see I'm not gonna do a card force or nothing on you. So let's give it another nice little fan here. Okay, let's pick any card you want. That card right there look good for you. Okay, we're not gonna look at it. Not gonna look at it. Memorize that card. That'll be your card. Okay, got it memorized? Can you see? I don't know. Can't tell. There you go. I'm just gonna go ahead. We're gonna put it straight in. Like that, no weird stuff. Gonna give it a little spring here to put some air in there so there's no pinky breaks, no jazz like that. Give it a cut. Give it a shuffle McGee here, shall we? A little Pharaoh shuffle, a little nice action there. Honest to God shuffle. Let's give it a riffle shuffle down on the table. Just like that, and then let's give it a cut, and a cut. So here, we're gonna try to find your card. Don't tell me if I come across it. Just gonna go ahead and we're gonna see here if we can find your card. I'm trying to get a feel for it, but since I can't feel you through this, let's see. We're gonna do it this way. Maybe this will work. Maybe that'll work. You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say that's your card right there. Yeah. All right. So now let's get into the beer review. Again, these are Joker and Thief playing cards. Beautiful cards. I also have the gold ones, and the gold inking is beautiful on that deck. So yeah, if you're into cards, check these guys out. They're awesome. Now onto the beer. This is a big one. This is barrel-aged D.O.R.I.S the Destroyer, double imperial stout aged in whiskey barrels, and not just any whiskeys, bourbon whiskey, which is great. All right, so I got my pour here. Sorry you didn't get to see that. As I said, I might cut to some of that footage just from me pouring it, but there won't be any good audio because this was off. This might be a bad idea in a glass, my friends. For this beer, we've got, like I said, barrel-aged D.O.R.I.S the Destroyer. It's a big one. Let me go ahead and read you the side. I think it helps when you understand like what the brewery's intention was before we jump into it, because it'll give us a better idea of kind of what character to look for in this monster. Barrel-aged D.O.R.I.S is aged in bourbon whiskey barrels to add a wonderful complexity to our massive American Double Imperial Stout. The wording on this is kind of funky, so yeah, I'm not dumb. It's kind of hard to read. This barrel aging imparts a memorable buttery, vanilla-like, and savory whiskey character, making this one of our most complex beers we've ever brewed. Another testament to our hardworking and dedication in bringing our customers the very best. And right here on the side, it's got our alcohol, so 10.5% alcohol by volume, as I said, a 118 original gravity, 27.5 degrees Plato, 70 IBUs. So let's go ahead and we'll give this beer the once-over. Pitch black. Hardly any light comes through. You can see light through about the top half inch, maybe, and that's stretching it. But a beautiful color. I mean, you can see it in this shot right here. Beautiful color. The head is a nice brown, which is exactly what we want. We don't want it too light for a big beer like this. You want to know that there's a lot of chocolate malt, a lot of roasted malt in this to give it bitterness and give it body. And let me tell you, this guy's got it. So let's go ahead and let's give it an aroma. Little sniff test here. It's really closed down on the nose, more so than anything. What I'm detecting, truthfully, is dark fruit malt character. Yeah, that malt sweetness, that caramely malt. But not so much so. Basically, the nose is just a sweet, woody complex like you'd get on a lot of these huge dessert stouts. And there's nothing wrong with that. The nose is what it is. As you can tell by the head on this beer, it's not going to be a giant, carbonated bomb. Especially being 10.5%, it's hard for it to hold a carbonation when you get super duper high without it being really hot. So yeah, props on that. Carbonation's on point. The aroma, like I said, is kind of closed down, but that's to be expected from drinking it out of a nonic pint, so it's partly on me. Yeah, let's give it a taste test. So first and foremost, aromatic, sweet. A little bit of vanilla, a little bit of oak, a little bit of leather, dark fruit more than anything though, kind of that dark fruit plum, fig character, raisin, kind of that sweet dark fruit smell. Nothing wrong with that. Actually, let's go ahead and give this thing a taste. Cheers, everyone. Oh, yes. Yes. Fire. Beer is fire. That sip, I swear, almost detectable a little tiny bit of cherry or Rauch malt. Definitely not peat. Definitely a smoked malt. coming into play just a little bit to bring the acidity up, that grain acidity, not necessarily IBUs, but like an acidity to the grain, an acridness, if you will. A lot of black patent, a lot of chocolate malt. Very good, but it has, like, you can pick the patent out in there, or similar style grain. It doesn't necessarily have to be the black patent grain, but something in there similar to that style of grain that's going to give you that sharp, roasty bitterness without going too sweet. And you can tell that they countered that with the chocolate malt. So it's fantastic to me because it's this interplay of like heavy, bitter grain with sweet vanilla, with alcohol sweetness from the bourbon, with that vanilla and leather character that you also get from the barrel aging process. Not to mention that this stout being at 10.5, probably before barrel aging, or around 9 before going into barrels, I'd had to take a guess. Yeah, it's a good stout. I mean, the base of this beer is very good. And that's just a guess tasting how it finishes, and their choice of bourbon barrel for this is fantastic. And you can tell that it's high alcohol. Look at the fingers, how the head is settling on notches. I mean, this beer, dude, let me get some light on that. Look at that. I mean, you can literally see the fingers forming from the alcohol content. It's up there. And the sweetness, obviously, it's not just straight up pure alcohol, but most of the time when you see the finger on the glass, yeah, it's definitely from the alcohol keeping everything, drawing down these long fingers, just like in a wine. Let's go ahead and give it another taste, see if it brings out any other character. Maybe I'm spacing on or missed in the first little bit here, but yeah, let's go ahead and give it a shot. Cheers, everyone, and let's see what we get. Man, that's good. That's very good. Dark fruit, too. The initial sip, right when it first hits your palate, it's very heavy on the body, which I prefer for a big stout. I think they should be that way. But not so much where you're drinking water. This still has carbonation. You can feel it on your tongue. It has texture. It's not just this heavy, watery mess that a lot of these guys create when they make these big dessert stouts. Now, this isn't in the range of a lot of dessert stouts. Let me just put that out there. I'm not saying this is one of them. A lot of these dessert stouts go way too high on the alcohol content for the sake of like one-upping each other for ABV, which is nonsense to me. This is going to be a little ranty, but to me it ruins what makes a lot of good beers good. You're losing that balance, that complexity, and that nuance. And sometimes, yeah, you want a kick-you-in-the-face IPA, right? Or you want a huge, cantankerous monster of a stout. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it seems like a lot of these new breweries that are opening up and a lot of these established breweries are now switching gears and bringing in these big dessert stouts in the name of chasing that dragon, you gotta be apprehensive a little bit because it's hard to do them right. And, this beer at 10.5, phenomenal. I think if this beer was 13, it'd be too much. Just to be honest, that 2.5% jump, same recipe, just, ramp it up, ferment it drier, use a different yeast, get more sugar, do a double mash, whatever you want to do, your call. Beer wouldn't benefit from it. It doesn't have the complexity to support such a high alcohol content. It doesn't have the sweetness. It doesn't have the malt backbone. And I know, like with Dark Lord, what they're doing with that style beer is they're actually doing a double mash. So they'll do one mash, sparge, rinse, transfer, mash, sparge, rinse again. So you basically, while they're boiling down that first bit, they mash and sparge again and then transfer in. So you get even more sugary goodness, which is cool. But if you've ever had Dark Lord fresh, not cellared, because cellared, so good. Fresh, boozy bomb. Boozy bomb. And maybe people like that, but, I want my beer to sing and not just hit me in the face with a pickaxe. So, yeah, that's the end of my little rant. Sorry about that, but yeah. So one more taste, and I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm going to give this beer a score. I think you guys already kind of got a guess of where this beer is going to sit because this beer is delicious. So yeah, cheers everyone. Let's give it one more taste, and then we'll wrap her up. Whew. Okay. Yep. All right, if I got to give this beer a score, scale of 1 to 10 as always, for HomeBrew's Brew Reviews, I'm going to have to give this guy a solid 9.5. It's maybe a little bit of prejudice and bias, but I like the fact that their bottle is unassuming. If you walked past this on a shelf, you'd be like, yeah, this bottle doesn't really speak to me. I don't want to get it because who is this and why should I care? It's a frog. Plus, Hop and Frog, a lot of your labels are kind of similar. Not to nitpick, but that is something, hey. But aside from that, the beer on its own legs is a 9.5. But the fact that it's in an unassuming bottle that doesn't reach out and grab you with the wax top that says, hey, look at me on this big barrel-aged monster, that's like the ultimate sleeper. It's like pulling up to a 4-door Nova, sitting there with a straight 6, sounding like a sewing machine, and then it takes off out the light and blows your doors off because it's got a diesel turbo and it's churning out 500 horsepower. Yeah, that's this beer. Ultimate sleeper, dude. Seriously, If anyone's out there is checking this out, see if you can get this. Honestly, very good. If you guys haven't, I got this on D.O.R.I.S. They didn't sponsor this. I just really love that app so much that I'll pimp it to everyone who will listen. D.O.R.I.S, phenomenal app. They're only servicing certain areas of the country right now, but they're working on getting it to more places. So if you guys like this content, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, go ahead and hit thumbs down. Tell me what you don't like. I'm always trying to grow my channel, develop, as an individual, what have you. So as always, thank you. This is Chris signing off. See you guys. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys later. Cheers.